The mockery begins. The Valdarian High Command chamber gleamed with crystalline walls that reflected the harsh blue light of their binary star system. Commander Zethkar stood at the center of the room, his forearms crossed as he stared at the viewing screen with barely contained amusement. The massive alien's scaled hide rippled with what could only be described as laughter. "Look at this pathetic vessel," he hissed to his council members, pointing at the human diplomatic ship that had just entered their system. "The Endeavor, they call it. How quaint. It looks like something our children would build from scrap metal." The ship in question was indeed modest compared to the towering spires and gleaming hulls of Valdarian warships. The Endeavor was a simple cylinder with basic propulsion systems, its hull marked with the blue and white insignia of Earth's United Nations. No visible weapons, no intimidating design features, just a plain vessel carrying a simple message of peaceful contact. Admiral Kexter, Zethkar's second in command, activated the communications array. "Shall we hear what these ... humans have to say before we destroy them?" His voice carried the same mocking tone that had become standard when discussing the new species that had recently emerged from the outer rim. Captain Sarah Chen sat in the captain's chair of the Endeavor, her hands steady despite the magnitude of the moment. This was first contact with the Valdarian Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations in the known galaxy. Her mission was simple: establish diplomatic relations and avoid conflict at all costs. She had spent months preparing for this moment, studying every piece of intelligence Earth had gathered about the Valdarians. "Open communications," she ordered her communication officer, Lieutenant Rodriguez. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the imposing figure of Commander Zep. "Greetings," Captain Chen began, her voice calm and professional. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Endeavor. We come in peace, seeking to establish diplomatic relations between our peoples. We bring greetings from the United Earth government and hope to begin a friendship that will benefit both our civilizations." The response was not what she expected. Laughter, deep, rumbling laughter that seemed to shake the very walls of the Valdarian command chamber. Zethkar's four eyes glittered with amusement as he looked at the human captain. "Friendship," he wheezed. "Between laughs, you offer friendship. Look at you, tiny creature. You have only 2 arms, your skin is pale and soft, and your ship is smaller than our escape pods. What could your species possibly offer the mighty Valdarian Empire, Captain?" Chen maintained her composure, though she felt her jaw tighten. "We offer knowledge, trade, cultural exchange, and mutual cooperation in exploring the galaxy. Our species may be young, but we have much to contribute." This only caused more laughter from the Valdarian Council. Admiral Kexter joined in, his voice dripping with condescension. "Contribute? Your entire species only discovered faster than light travel 50 years ago. We have been rulers of the galaxy for over 3,000 years. You are insects compared to us." "We may be new to space," Captain Chen replied steadily, "but we learn quickly. Our species has survived and thrived on a world that would challenge most others. We adapt, we overcome, and we grow stronger through adversity." Commander Zethkar's amusement only grew. "A death world, yes, we've heard. Earth, isn't it? High gravity, violent weather, dangerous creatures. Most species would consider it barely habitable. But that just makes you hardy cockroaches, nothing more." The insults continued for several minutes, each one more degrading than the last. The Valdarians mocked human appearance, technology, culture, and achievements. They laughed at Earth's wars, calling them playground squabbles, and dismissed human art and literature as primitive scribbles. Captain Chen endured it all, maintaining diplomatic protocol even as her crew grew increasingly angry. She could see the tension building on her bridge, but she held firm. This was too important to let pride interfere. Finally, Zethkar grew bored of the mockery. Enough of this entertainment. Human captain, here are your options. Your species will surrender all claims to the 12 systems you've colonized in the Outer Rim. You will provide us with detailed maps of your territory, your technology, and your resources. You will serve as a vassal species under Valdarian rule. The commander's expression hardened, his forearms spreading wide in a gesture of dominance. You have exactly 48 of your Earth hours to comply. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why the Valdarian Empire has never lost a war. You're primitive. Ships will burn, your colonies will be ash, and your home world will become another trophy in our collection. Captain Chen felt a chill run down her spine, but her voice remained steady. Commander Zethkar, I cannot speak for my entire government, but I can tell you that humanity has never responded well to ultimatums. I urge you to reconsider this course of action. War benefits no one. War benefits the victor, Zethkar laughed. And we always win. 48 hours, human. Use them wisely. The communication cut off, leaving the bridge of the Endeavour in tense silence. Back on Earth, the emergency session of the Unified Defense Council was already in progress. Admiral Marcus Storis, a veteran of Earth's many conflicts, stood before the massive holographic display showing the current galactic situation. His weathered face was grim as he addressed the assembled representatives from every nation and colony. The situation is clear, Torres began, his voice carrying the weight of years of military experience. The Valdarian Empire has given us 48 hours to surrender. Intelligence estimates they can field over 10,000 warships, each one. More advanced than anything in our fleet. Dr. Elena Buskis, the Council's chief xenobiologist and strategic advisor, stepped forward. She had spent her career studying alien civilizations, and her insights had proven invaluable in previous diplomatic encounters. The Valdarians are classic apex predators, she explained. They've dominated their region of space for millennia. Through superior technology and ruthless tactics, they've never encountered serious resistance. What are our options? Asked President Morrison, the current chair of the Unified Earth Government. Admiral Torres activated a series of tactical displays. Conventionally speaking, we have 300 active warships and another 200 in reserve. Our technology is advanced, but untested against Valdarian systems. By all calculations, we're outgunned, outnumbered, and outclassed. Conventionally speaking, Dr. Vasquez interjected with a slight smile. But humans have never been conventional. We have assets the Valdarians don't know about, advantages they can't calculate. She moved to the display, highlighting various Earth installations and projects. Project Prometheus, our quantum weapon research. The Titan Defense Grid, our planetary protection network. The Ghost Fleet Initiative. Most importantly, they're judging us based on what they can see, not what we're capable of. Admiral Torres nodded. The Valdarians are used to fighting species that play by their rules. Massive fleets, direct confrontation, technological superiority deciding the outcome. They've never faced an enemy that thinks differently. President Morrison looked around the table at the other representatives. Faces were grim but determined. Are we really considering this? War with a galactic empire? They've already decided on war, Torres replied. The question is whether we face it. On our knees or on our feet? Dr. Vasquez pulled up historical files on her tablet. I've been studying the Valdarian military doctrine. They're powerful but predictable. They rely on intimidation, overwhelming force, and technological superiority. They've never had to adapt because they've never needed to. And humans, Morrison asked, humans, Dr. Vasquez smiled grimly, specialize in the impossible. We've turned disadvantages into advantages throughout our history. Every time someone counted us out, we found a way to survive and win. The vote was unanimous. Earth would not surrender. As the 48-hour deadline approached, the Valdarian Empire prepared for what they assumed would be a quick and decisive victory. Zethkar assembled a fleet of 500 warships, more than enough to crush any resistance the humans might offer. His officers were confident, joking about how quickly the campaign would be over. Meanwhile, across human space, a different kind of preparation was taking place. Colony worlds activated hidden defense systems that had been built in secret over the past decade. Ancient military doctrines were dusted off and adapted for space warfare. Human ingenuity, creativity, and stubbornness were about to be tested on a galactic scale. In the deepest bunkers of Earth, Admiral Torres met with his most trusted commanders. Remember, he told them, we're not trying to match them ship for ship. We're going to show them what happens when you underestimate a species that refused to go extinct on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. The countdown continued. 36 hours, 24 hours, 12 hours. The Valdarians grew more confident with each passing moment, certain that the humans would surrender at the last minute. After all, what rational species would choose? Destruction over survival. They were about to learn that humans had never been particularly rational. The awakening. The timer reached zero at exactly 1200 hours, Earth Standard Time. Commander Zethkar stood in his command center aboard the flagship Dominion, a massive vessel that stretched over 3 kilometers from bow to stern. Around him, hundreds of Valdarian officers monitored their stations, confident in their inevitable victory. Any response from the humans? Zethkar asked his communications officer. Negative, Commander. Complete silence from all human territories. Zethkar's mandibles clicked with satisfaction. Fear has finally taken hold. Begin the assault on their outer colonies. Make it swift and decisive. Show the galaxy what happens to species that defy the Valdarian Empire. The first target was New Harmony, a human agricultural colony in the Kepler system. Intelligence reports indicated it was defended by only 2 outdated frigates and a small civilian militia. The Valdarian attack force consisted of 50 heavy cruisers and twice as many fighters. It should have been over in minutes. Captain Janet Webb commanded the human defense of New Harmony from the bridge of the frigate Defiant. Her ship was, indeed, old, a converted civilian vessel with basic weapons and shields. Next to her, the frigate Courage maintained formation, equally outmatched by the approaching Valdarian fleet. Captain, her tactical officer called out, Valdarian. Ships dropping out of hyperspace. Count is 75 vessels and climbing. Webb nodded calmly. Signal Courage to maintain position. Activate the sleeping giant protocol. Across the colony, what appeared to be simple farming equipment suddenly transformed. Automated harvesters revealed hidden missile launchers. Irrigation. Systems converted into electromagnetic pulse generators. Storage silos opened to reveal squadrons of unmanned fighters that had been disguised as agricultural drones. The Valdarians had made their first mistake. They assumed what they could see was all there was. Admiral Kexter, commanding the attack, from his cruiser Conqueror, watched in confusion as his sensors began registering new contacts. What is that? Where did those fighters come from? His tactical officer's voice was strained. Sir, the entire planet appears to be ... militarized. Those weren't farms. They were camouflaged military installations. The battle began in earnest. Valdarian ships, expecting minimal resistance, found themselves facing coordinated attacks from multiple directions. Human tactics proved unlike anything in their database. Instead of meeting the assault head-on, human forces scattered, regrouped, and struck from unexpected angles. Captain Webb's voice echoed across human communication channels. Remember, we're not trying to outmuscle them. We're going to outthink them. Execute pattern, Delta 7. The human fighters, smaller and more maneuverable than their Valdarian counterparts, began employing swarm tactics that the aliens had never encountered. They moved like schools of fish, impossible to target effectively, striking weak points, and withdrawing before return fire could lock onto them. But the real surprise came when the Valdarians tried to bombard the planet directly. Their heavy weapons, designed to crack planetary shields and reduce cities to rubble, struck the surface of New Harmony and bounced off. Impossible, Kexter roared. What kind of shielding is that? The answer would have shocked him even more. There was no energy shield protecting New Harmony. Instead, human engineers had developed something far more subtle, a quantum displacement field that redirected incoming energy into pocket dimensions. The technology was theoretical by Valdarian standards, but humans had turned theory into reality. Through sheer determination and innovative thinking, as the battle continued, more surprises emerged. Human ships that appeared damaged suddenly revealed they were perfectly functional, their apparent destruction merely clever holographic deception. Valdarian targeting systems found themselves confused by human electronic warfare that didn't follow standard patterns. Most disturbing of all, the humans were learning. With each exchange, their tactics improved, their weapons adapted, their strategies evolved in real dash time. Back at Valdarian High Command, Sethkar watched the battle reports with growing alarm. What should have been a simple conquest was turning into a prolonged engagement. Worse, his forces were actually taking losses. How is this possible? He demanded. They're primitives. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Dr. Alina Vasquez would have been happy to explain had she been there. Human technology wasn't more advanced than Valdarian systems, but it was different. Where Valdarians focused on raw power and overwhelming superiority, humans had developed creative solutions to complex problems. They had turned limitations into advantages and weaknesses into strengths. The tide of the battle at New Harmony truly turned when Captain Webb activated the colony's final surprise. Deep beneath the planet's surface, massive gravitational generators came online. The technology was based on Earth's experience with dangerous gravitational anomalies. Adapted for military use, suddenly, Valdarian ships found their navigation systems failing as local gravity fluctuated wildly. Heavy cruisers designed for the stable conditions of normal space began colliding with each other as their pilots lost control. All units, retreat. Kexter finally ordered. Fall back to safe distance. But the humans weren't finished. As the Valdarian fleet pulled back, human ships pursued, not to destroy, but to disable. They targeted engines and communications, leaving Valdarian vessels stranded but intact. When the battle was over, New Harmony remained in human hands. More importantly, 50 Valdarian vessels had been captured, their crews taken prisoner but treated with unexpected humanity. Commander Zethkar was furious when the reports reached him. A single human colony defeated our attack fleet. This is impossible, sir. His intelligence officer spoke hesitantly. There's more. The humans are broadcasting a message on all frequencies. The view screen activated, showing Admiral Marcus Torres in the bridge of Earth's flagship, the UES Indomitable. Behind him, the blue-green curve of Earth was visible through the observation windows. Commander Zethkar Torres began, his voice calm but carrying an undertone of steel. You made several assumptions about humanity that have proven incorrect. First, you assumed we were weak because we sought peace. Second, you assumed we were primitive because our technology looks different from yours. Third, you assumed we would be easy to defeat because we're newcomers to the galaxy. Torres stepped closer to the camera. Let me correct those assumptions. We sought peace because we understand the true cost of war. Our technology appears simple because we've learned to make complex things appear simple. And we're dangerous, precisely because we're new to the galaxy and haven't learned that some things are supposed to be impossible. The Admiral's expression hardened. Your attack on New Harmony was repelled. Your ships are captured, but your crews are unharmed and will be returned to you unharmed. This is your chance to reconsider your position. Zethkar cut off the transmission in rage. Impossible. One colony cannot defeat a Valdarian fleet. Prepare the full armada. We will crush them with overwhelming force. Dr. Vasquez, monitoring the Valdarian communications from her position on Earth, shook her head sadly. They still don't understand, she told Admiral Torres. They think this was about superior firepower. They don't realize we just demonstrated something far more dangerous to them, which is, we showed them that we can adapt faster than they can plan. Every standard Valdarian tactic failed because we don't fight the way they expect. And now they're going to escalate, which means we get to show them what humans really look like when we're cornered. The full Valdarian armada was indeed impressive. Over 2,000 ships of the line, supported by countless fighters and support vessels. It was a force capable of sterilizing entire star systems, led by Zethkar himself aboard the super dreadnought, Eternal Dominion. But as the massive fleet approached human space, they found something unexpected. Earth's entire defense fleet waiting for them in open space. No defensive positions, no hiding behind planetary shields. Just human ships facing the armada in what appeared to be a suicidal direct confrontation. Finally, Zethkar laughed. They're going to fight like civilized beings, destroy them all. What followed was not the battle Zethkar expected. Human ships, seemingly outgunned and outnumbered, began executing maneuvers that defied Valdarian understanding of space combat. They moved in perfect coordination, each ship supporting the others in ways that created a defense greater than the sum of its parts. More importantly, the humans revealed their true nature. When cornered, when facing impossible odds, they didn't surrender or break. They became more determined, more creative, more dangerous. Every Valdarian advantage was met with human innovation. Every Valdarian tactic was countered by human adaptability. The turning point came when Dr. Vasquez's greatest project came online. The Prometheus Quantum Cascade. Instead of building bigger weapons, humans had learned to turn physics itself into their ally. The cascade created a chain reaction that disabled Valdarian weapon systems across half their fleet without causing any permanent damage. Suddenly, the mighty Valdarian armada found itself helpless. their ships floating dead in space, while human vessels moved among them like guardians rather than conquerors. Admiral Torres opened a channel to the entire Valdarian fleet. "This is Admiral Torres of Earth's Defense Fleet. Your weapons are disabled, but your life support systems are intact. We could have destroyed you, but chose not to. That should tell you something about who we really are." He paused, letting the words sink in. "Humanity doesn't seek to dominate or conquer. We seek to survive, to grow, and to protect what we care about. You threatened that, so we showed you why that was a mistake. But we're not monsters. We're not you, Commander Zethkar." His pride shattered and his fleet defeated, finally understood. These humans weren't primitive creatures to be dismissed. They were something far more dangerous. A young, adaptable species with the intelligence to turn any situation to their advantage and the wisdom to show mercy even in victory. The war that had begun with laughter ended with respect. The Valdarian Empire, for the first time in its history, negotiated a peace treaty as equals rather than conquerors. They had learned, too late, that some species are dangerous not because of what they are, but because of what they're capable of becoming. And across the galaxy, other civilizations heard the story of the humans who were mocked as primitives, but proved to be something far more significant, the next step in galactic evolution. The humans had shown them all that sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one everyone underestimates. They had laughed at humanity's defenses, then discovered what humans were truly capable of. It was a lesson the galaxy would not soon forget.